Hey everyone.
Hello, my friends.
Welcome back to another episode of Insert Subject Here. I'm Makia.
I'm Anthony.
And today we are going to get into one of my favorite times of year. So I hope you brought your popcorn because this week we are talking scary movies on this week's episode of Insert Subject Here.
Stay tuned.
So how are you this week, Anthony?
I am here.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know at 41, spicy food becomes the devil for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, spicy food will end you up in a patient verse. You dig?
Yikes.
It ain't no more for me. I'm over it.
Well,
how are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I mean, I wasn't impatient first. So before we get too deep into things, be sure to like this video, share it if you care, comment down below to keep the conversation going, and subscribe to the page. Hit that notification bell so that you are always notified when we shoot new episodes onto the channel. So
that was a good save.
It was a good save. So this week, we're going to talk about, my friends, we're going to talk about horror movies because it's October.
Yes, it is October. Oh.
And I love scary movies.
Yeah, she does.
So
Even if she saw them like 4 or 5 times.
Oh, I can sit and just watch
the same movie 4 or 5 times. It don't bother her.
And most of the movies that are on here, I have probably watched 4, 5, 10 times. But I fell in love with scary movies because my aunt had left me in the house one day to be babysit by VHS. And if you don't know what VHS is, now's a good time to Google it.
Yep, CPS.
Yeah, and I mean, I was fine. Like, I would just watch Blockbuster. Don't know what Blockbuster is. Google it. I would just watch Blockbuster movies like all day and all night at some point. I can't remember when it was. I want to say I was in like elementary school though.
Oh.
And the very first scary movie that I ever watched was Do you know what that movie is?
That was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I can't believe that there's been a nightmare on my street.
God. That song does not count.
It does not. But oh my goodness, that movie creeped me out with the girls jump roping in white and how you can see it kind of going below and the girl that got carried all up on.
2, Freddy's coming for you.
Oh, let me tell you. And the fact that I was like, I can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. So put another movie in, stupid. But I loved Nightmare on Elm Street. Hit the comment section below if Nightmare on Elm Street was one of your favorites. And I was so young that I didn't get the witty humor that Freddy Krueger was doing. You've got the body and I've got the brain.
Freddy's that guy.
He was.
Freddy's that guy. He's so I knew the assignment, guys. I followed the assignment. I was told to pick my top 3. So I rated my 3.
Oh.
So Nightmare on Elm Street was great, but
somebody want a cookie.
You the boogie. So I rated mine. So my number 3 is Stephen King's Children of the Corn.
Okay.
1984. So just a little synopsis so you can understand if you haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure everybody has seen it, but then I can't say that because I didn't even see the first Candyman. So I don't know how. So it's set in the fictitious rural town of Gatlin, Nebraska, and the film tells the story of a malevolent entity referred to as He Who Walks Behind the Rose. That's a name for a sinister character. And this person entices the town's children to ritually murder all of the town's adults. And a couple just so happens to stumble into Gatlin, Nebraska.
He who walks behind
the rose. So I was terrified of cornfields because of this movie. If you have not seen it, like until my adulthood, like we would go to haunted attractions and they would have corn mazes, and I'm terrified. Like I don't even want to go through it. This is stupid. We shouldn't even be here walking through these people corn. They got to eat this corn. So that movie really did mess me up. But the scene at the end where he comes back and his face is all disfigured. And he's like, he wants you too, Malachi. Messed me up for the rest of my life. I was 30 before I watched that movie again.
Oh.
So Children of the Corn was a number 3. And I think it was only number 3 because it scarred me so badly.
Whoa.
So what's your next one?
My next one is movies that are about real events. Oh, it's like spine tingling, like the little hairs set up. And the story of The Conjuring. Yes. That was one of the most eerie, creepy movies. Like, so basically the synopsis is that this family that has all girls, and I believe it was like 4 girls, they move into this house, and that's, I'm real nervous about stuff like that. So we're the first owners to live in our house.
On purpose.
On purpose. And I've always had a thing about homes because you don't know what happened in that home. But pretty much where this home was, there was...
Who happened in that home?
Or who happened? So the home was cursed by a witch. And she, did a whole lot of bad stuff. It had a whole lot of bad spirits. They were thinking they were being haunted by one, and it was haunted by multiple ones.
A legion.
It was a whole legion. Like, I don't even know how they stayed. And it was a true story. Yes. And of course, I know some stuff is embellished, but the story was saying that there was one particular entity in the house, because I read the story about it, that did some very bad things to the little girls. This was
The Conjuring?
This was The Conjuring. They didn't show it in. They kind of alluded to it a little bit in the movie, but they didn't really go to the extreme of what actually happened. And they don't even...
Maybe they should have. It would have taken the rating from PG-13, but I think it would have made for a way more creepy, and I think it would have drew you in a little more. It would have. It would have.
But that movie just always sends shivers down my spine. Like, there was a point and we follow the whole Conjuring universe.
The whole Conjuring universe.
Because it's the whole universe. And there are different spin-offs with Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are the people who went to the different homes and did the different things. Like the Annabelle came from it, and the Nun. And they have some other little characters. And they have in their home a whole room that's dedicated to just locking up.
Now that's too far.
That is too far.
Just Ed and Lorraine and the family members of Ed and Lorraine, that's too far. Y'all should have got rid of that stuff. Because at the end of the movies, if you stick around to the end, they were actually showing real pictures of Ed and Lorraine Warren and the real dolls and artifacts that they were trying to get the stuff out of. Made it even more creepy for me. It
did. And now they're going back and doing stories behind all of the different artifacts, which sucks you in even more. And fun fact, the people that worked on the cast for the movies, both the actors, actresses, and like the behind the scenes people, all have experienced different super... what is the word? Like supernatural.
Paranormal activity.
Yeah, they've all had different bouts of that.
I can only imagine.
So I couldn't.
That ain't my place.
Certainly not my cup.
I'm gonna go ahead and leave that alone. It's like, and the fact that it's like a whole universe of this stuff. Like they did so much that they have multiple movies, and I don't think they're going to run out of any ideas anytime soon.
They don't, because I believe they have at least 3 bullets in the chamber right now. They're just waiting. Oh, y'all want another one?
So it's good when a horror film can take on a bunch of sequels and they still all be good, just like my number 2. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Boom.
The Dream Warriors. That's, of all of the Freddy Krueger movies, that's my favorite. And the synopsis of this one is Kristen Parker, who was played by Patricia Arquette, I know y'all remember her, had her wrist slashed by Freddy. And her parents thought she was trying to commit suicide, so they had her committed to a mental hospital.
Oh, you know, I never got why she was in the mental. Oh, you just learned me something.
Oh my God.
Oh, you just learned me something. I thought, I hate to interject.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. It's on you.
So all this time, I thought it was a whole bunch of people that had seen or interacted with Freddy were all here to like work out. Are you serious?
Seriously. So when they got to the mental hospital and she's in group therapy telling the people like, no, I had an encounter with Freddy Krueger. The doctor, Miss Nancy Thompson, had an encounter with Freddy Krueger too, because as a kid, she knew who Freddy was. So she thought because this girl, Kristen, had survived, that she could send her back and rid the world of Freddy.
Now we got to watch it again.
So she put them all up. Like Kristen and all her crew all got put up to going back to fight Freddy because she figured they were strong enough since they had encountered him once and could get out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Did y'all know that?
It was crazy. So my favorite part of the movie, though, was my man, Reggie Kincaid, the black guy. He was just strong. Like, he was strong for no reason, like stupid strong. And so he was getting the best of Freddy.
Yes.
And it ain't, still ain't go too well for him. He was strong, though. He was strong in his dreams, too. But it ain't. So Nightmare on Elm Street 3. That's my favorite one of the whole series.
Okay. And why is it your favorite?
Because I've watched the other ones, and like the first one didn't do it for me. The first one wasn't enough.
Even when the girl was in the hallway and she had the white on and she was picking with Nancy. I believe she was picking with Nancy.
Yeah.
She was like, Nancy.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. I tried, and I watched it like 4 times, and it was just like, Okay. And the second one, I think it picks up at the second one. But the third one was when it became like Freddy is going to terrorize your dreams. Okay. I like seeing Freddy more. Like I didn't see enough of Freddy in the first one.
That is true.
Opinion. So that's why that's my favorite. And then after that, it continues to get. 4 was good. 5 is when you lost me, because 5 it was just like, all right, y'all doing too much. It was like Friday the 13th. Okay, how we get to 9?
Right.
Like we're not supposed to be here.
Okay. Now, I just want to say, before I go into my next scary movie, that one thing that I love about this time of year is the costumes. I love when people have really creepy costumes, and I've been trying for a long time to get a nurse costume from the movie Silent Hill. I think the nurses in Silent Hill were so creepy.
They were creepy.
And their little intricate movements really freaked me out. And which, sidebar, Silent Hill has an underlying story similar to what you were saying with Friday the 13th. I'm sorry, with Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. I didn't realize until like the second time that I watched Silent Hill that it was a little molestation in there and how the demon came about.
Most of them have that undertone.
Yeah, so I got to go back and watch movies again.
I keep falling asleep on Silent Hill. I've watched it with McKay like 6 times, and every time it's like a.
Well,
it's creepy though. Don't get me wrong. It's a creepy movie. Just it's a slow burn.
It's parts where it's
a slow burn.
Yeah. But I want to talk about a little known movie that a lot of people don't talk about that I really like, and I appreciate the story and the demon behind. It's the movie Mama. I like the movie Mama. And basically what happens is 2 girls are in a car accident with their father. They survive the car accident and they stumble into an abandoned home. And they encounter Mama in the home. And then they're found, they're rescued, and they are taken to live with, I believe it was like a brother of their father. So it was their uncle or something. Yep. And Mama comes to the new home and she's like jealous of what's going on because they're starting to connect with the family there.
A jealous ghost.
Now that
it's crazy.
And I think sometimes I make more out of these movies than really is, because my mind goes to, oh my God,
indeed.
What if we adopt? Because it was one time where we were talking about adopting a child. And I was like, what if something comes along with it? And I'm not just talking about in their mind, but like something actually comes with it. No. Adopting kids is good. Adopt some kids, y'all.
We just won't.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. But that, like, I like to think about and have and watch movies where things really could happen like that, because it just makes me look at it from a different eye. And the ending of the movie is even very interesting because I didn't expect that to be the ending. So, if you have seen Mama, hit the comments section.
Yeah, because I'm curious. I enjoyed it. It was a decent movie to me. I can't put it in my favorites, but it was a decent movie. I didn't go to sleep on it. That's the telltale sign for me if I don't go to sleep on it.
Okay.
Speaking of movies that things can really happen, we were talking to a friend in the airport, and she was showing us a video of her Ring camera, like the camera inside her house, and you could hear the sound. And she was like, watch this. And we're looking at it, and the light just flicks on. You hear click.
Yep.
But it's nobody in the house.
Nobody in the house.
It freaked me out, but it immediately took me back to my number one movie of all time, Paranormal Activity One.
Yes.
That's my movie. If you have not seen it, I say at the end of this episode, after you hit that thumbs up, go watch Paranormal Activity. But at night, you have to do it at night. You can have people with you, but at night only. So the gist of it is, strange things happens in a couple's house. The boyfriend, Mika, can't figure out like why she's acting this way, why Katie's acting this way. So he's like, I'm going to go get a camera and we're going to record everything. And it goes downhill from there. I think it was this movie did it for me because we went and saw it in the movie theater, Arundel Mills to be exact.
Yes.
And that's when they used to have you line up outside the movie theater to go in. And we saw the people coming out of the show before us, and they're crying.
And they're running out.
They're holding each other. They're running out. And I'm like, I don't know if we made the right decision.
Right.
Like, I was going to get our money back. But it was, you walk in the movie, you got to say, I don't want to give it away. I'm giving no spoilers because I want you to watch it. But you feel like you're watching home videos.
And I think that's the best part of it is because you actually feel like this is actual footage from this that's going on in the house. Like, this really did happen. And they do a good job with the sounds that they use in the movie, the time lapse that they do in the movie. It was really like I was clinging to him in the movie. Like, oh my gosh. And what I really like is that when you incorporate humor into the movie, because it was a lot of humor. But the scares were, and when you watch it now, it's 2021, you've seen some stuff. The technology of the movie at the time that it was out, ahead of its time. It was.
Like the stuff they did in that movie, to me, still stands above some of the stuff I'm seeing recently.
I would agree.
Like, that movie was amazing, but the ending of that I'm seeing recently.
I would agree.
Like, that movie was amazing, but the ending of that movie, when you see it. So everybody saw Blair Witch Project.
Yes.
What Blair Witch Project thought it was.
Yes.
Is what Paranormal Activity actually was. You got to watch it. And I'm telling you, just one of these nights when it get dark, just put it on. I'm telling you, it will scare you out of your mind. And this is another series because they have 4 or 5.
It's a lot.
There's a bunch of them. And I'll say 1, 2, maybe 3. Maybe 3 were good to me. Then they started losing me because I think they were going too deep into backstory.
And they were trying to pull it into and I don't want to spoil it, but there are what happened and how the house became haunted in part 1. They start to really peel back and delve deep into, and that's when you really start losing because you're trying to make it too much. You should have just left it alone. I think I like how part 2, when they brought in her sister and how they tied that together. And there is
yes.
There is it's the paranormal and Paranormal Activity is connected to another movie series. I cannot remember it off the top of my head, but different parts of it they pull so that you can see how the two are intertwined.
If she remembers it, I'll put it up here somewhere so you'll see it.
Yes, that's good because we can do it in the post-production.
You feel me? Yeah, I mean, Lexis Media, holla at us, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my number one. I do plan to watch that again this October before we get to the scary movie time. We might even watch when we.
We watched and we went to. I'm just going to plug this in here since we got a little bit of time. When we stayed in the container home and there were no curtains to the window, I was like, it's
watch
so
that
dark
episode
outside.
if you haven't watched it.
Yes, it's so dark outside. Let's watch this movie Creep that I had heard about. So we watched this movie Creep, and it was a good movie.
It was amazing.
So creepy.
It's one of those eerie. It gave me. If you haven't seen, remember Sinister?
Yes.
Sinister, what to me was not an amazing movie, but Sinister managed to creep me out the entire movie. It wasn't what I saw on the screen. It was the energy that the movie gave.
Yes.
Creep gives you the same eerie, this is weird. It's a train wreck, but you can't look away because it's pulled you in already. And you're just like, it's so weird that I know something great happened. I want to see what happens.
Yes, and there's so many red flags that you like, dude, do you see the flags? But then you like, dude, keep
Creep
going because I want to see what happens.
Creep counts as a horror movie.
It does. And just to give you a little information about it, a guy hires a guy to come and film him for his final days because he is dying of cancer. And so when he gets to his home first of all, as soon as he gets there, he should have known, I need to go.
Yo parked his car and things was going down.
Right. From the time he parked his car. And then it just goes so downhill, but you just can't stop watching because the guy is just so creepy. So yeah, check that
Creep
out.
was good. Creep was really good.
So Anthony.
Yo.
Do you have anything for us this week?
I do. There's a new culture now. It's the toxic love culture. I was having a discussion recently, and we were talking about millennials and what the age group for millennials were. And we Googled, of course, and the age range is you were born between 1981 and 1996. And one of the people I was having a discussion with was like, I don't want to be a millennial. Like, I shouldn't count because I was probably at the beginning of, and I was like, nah, I mean, you 81, bro, you're a millennial. And so we were talking and I was sitting there and I was like, millennials, we were talking about how millennials view things differently than we do. And the music used to be about finding love and fighting to keep love. You had Let's Stay Together by Al Green, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours by Stevie Wonder, Adorned by Miguel. I even come up a little further. Now music is about breakups, hooking up with any and everybody. You got, and this was Makia's fault, you got Need to Know by Doja Cat. You got Gallus by Capella Gray. This is the songs that people consider love songs. Like these are the songs the millennials and the Gen Z or Gen Zs think are like, this is the joint right here. It's weird. You know, like back in the day when Barbara called Shirley, it was on some woman to woman type stuff. Now it's sis, you don't need him, you don't need no man to do. King, know your worth, king, you don't need no woman to do. I'm in no way condoning staying in unhealthy relationships. That is not what I'm saying. However, you have to fight for the things you value and love. Period. I'm a Gen Xer, 1980. We got to take some responsibility because we birthed these millennials. We birthed these Gen Yers. Like they're us. They came from us. So we're not putting our imprint there. So the thing I fight so hard to do with my girls is to instill upon them that you got to know your worth. There's nothing wrong with knowing your worth, but you also got to be able to acknowledge the worth in other people. You know what I'm saying? If someone makes you happy, you have to appreciate them. You got to value loyalty and reward it with the same. And don't take anyone's good deeds for granted, because actions always speak louder than words. Love is a verb and not a noun. So, as the Gen Xers, as the big homies, as the unks and the aunties, what they call each other, aunties, we got to start helping talk through some things with the younger generations. Instead of just putting like they crazy, let's kind of get them back on the path to understand that it's more to love than just hooking up and having a roster of women or a roster of guys doing all this stuff for you. It's about finding somebody that you can build and grow with. It's action verb. It's not a noun. That's all I got.
So I want to go back because he tried to put me on the spot. I do like Doja Cat's Need to Know. I did not know, what the words were saying at first until one day I was at work and I was like, I just need to zone out and do my work. So I put my earphones in and I was listening to Doja Cat and I was like, when she said, I heard from a friend of a friend that boop was a 10 out of 10.
She gonna text me and I was like, who you been talking to, girl? Who told you that?
I was like, and then I went back and listened to the words and I was like,
So it made me put the song on and I'm listening like, oh my God, this is it?
Also, one of the songs I love to listen to is Getting Late, and baby, I can't focus. And we know what he's singing about, but I just like the beat of it. I just landed my island. The words are wrong, right? The Chris Brown song.
All right, so.
You do.
I know.
And rock you straight to sleep, girl.
Oh, yeah, he talking about banging.
But I love the song.
Double entendre, though. Doja Cat just got straight to it.
But my point is, I think it's the vibe of the song is what pulls people in. And then once you start paying it, well, at least for me. And then once you start paying attention to the words, you're like, oh, okay.
No, it's for me too, because it's certain unedited versions of songs I've listened to before that I can't listen to. Mm-hmm. It get real. On you.
So I don't really have anything this week.
Oh.
I really want to listen to you guys. Drop your favorite horror movies in the comment section below. Hashtag my favorite scary movie is, or hashtag check this scary movie out if it's not your favorite, but you recommend it, because I'm always looking for new scary movies and new little things. I like psycho thrillers. I'm not really big into like the slasher movies.
I am.
But
Saw could have made the list, but I left Saw off.
But today's scary movies use too much CGI with the blood and stuff. It's just like, it take it out for me. So please let me know your favorite scary movies or movies that you recommend. Hit that comment section below and let us know.
So other people can see too. The DMs are cool, but other people can't see the DMs. Yeah. So put it in the comment section so other people can see, because there's a lot of people who get recommendations for movies and shows from the comment section and from the show as well. It was a good episode.
It was a good episode.
We didn't go too far over.
We did not.
With that, I'm Ant.
And I'm looking for some new scary movies.
Thanks for stopping by to talk some issues today.
Bye.
Peace out.